a fight, a 12-round fight at the end of the 7th round, and Duba is saying, you have to win by a knockout. This is the earliest knockout call I can ever recall.
And
Letterman gave the round to David Tua. Go ahead, Roy.
I think the reason he's telling him this is because he knows that he's not going to outpoint Rahman in a long fight. So he wants him to start trying to knock Rahman out right now.
Well, and I think beyond that, if there's a chance still for David to gain a decision, the only way he can gain the decision is by stepping up his punch-out foot and fighting more furiously with more activity. So Duba's appellation to him works on both levels. A, it gives him a chance to score the knockout he might need. B, it would help him to have a chance to win a decision because he's not going to get it fighting this way. He wants desperation out of the fighter. He wants a more breakneck style. And that's why it's hard for Tua to do what's asked for him.
Jab has been a very discouraging tool to David Tua tonight.
It's been the story of the fight.
It's like having a good running game in football. When things are not going exactly the way you want, you just hand the ball off and you make a first down.
Well, plus, as Floyd Mayweather Jr. said in our meeting yesterday, a good jab is your offense and your defense.
2 good body punches by Tua.
Drums at ringside, trying to build the feverish energy for David Tua, the Samoan by way of New Zealand.
Punch it out, right here is where David Tua is supposed to be doing work at, but he doesn't. He's so tired from absorbing all the punches until he just doesn't do anything inside anymore.
Tua says that at the end of his workout every day, he likes to sit down in front of a mirror for about a half hour and just stare into the mirror, visualizing his hopes and dreams and how he responds to them. If he looked in the mirror right now, he wouldn't like the way Hasim Rahman has made his jab look. And here's a momentary pause to redo the tape around Rahman's glove. Tua, who's thrown only 23 punches in the round, despite Lou Duba's urging that he must go wild. Has plenty of time to think about it as they work on Rahman. This is the longest glove tape delay I can remember.
Tua hasn't looked to his corner yet, but he should look to his corner, and they should tell him that he needs to go right back out there, get close to Rahman, and start working on the inside.
What's going on in there?
Well, what's going on is that in round 8 of a 12-round fight, or I should say, yeah, right here in round 8 of a 12-round fight, Hasim Rahman just got a welcome 1.5-minute rest. For a guy who's had a tendency to tire down the stretch, it couldn't have worked out better.
Why is David Tua holding on the inside? David Tua should be the guy that's busy on the inside.
Because he doesn't like the way he's getting hit. Fights change when fighters don't like getting hit. And tonight, Tua is absorbing a lot of level. To the body by Rahman. Another relatively slowly paced round. January 26th, Real Sports with Brian Gumbel returns. It's actually January 25, excuse me. Among the stories, we'll investigate offshore gambling operations which take in millions of dollars in illegal sports bets. We'll look at the grueling and often frustrating life of an NFL assistant coach. We'll examine a controversial study which asserts that 1 out of every 5 National Football League players has a criminal background. Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, premiering Monday, January 25 at 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific.
You got to let both hands go with this guy. This guy's this guy, you can knock him out. When you throw punches, ain't no certain punches I want you to throw. I just want you to throw punches. I don't care what you hit him. Hit him power on the right hand. He's leaning into a hook. All right, jab, short right hand. Put your power on the hook on the inside. Come on,
2/3 2/3 of the way through this fight, Hasim Rahman is establishing himself, along with Michael Grant, as the best young heavyweight in the world. But it ain't over until it's over.
Yeah, but you're right. At this stage, his status is skyrocketing, and Tua's is diminishing. Harold, how do you have it through 8?
Tonight at 78, 74, 6 rounds to 2, Hasim Rahman. I gave round 6 and 7 to David Tua because he got inside and The Rock stopped jabbing, I tell you the truth. But you know, Jim, maybe I'm imagining this, but it's very strange. If you watch Rahman real close, like I watch him, half the time he ain't looking at Tua. He's looking all over the place. Watch his head. Watch his eyes. He looks at me, looks at you, looks at the corner. I'm telling you, if he takes his eyes off of Tua once too many times, he's going to get whacked.
Well, maybe he's got some kind of special peripheral vision, because he seems to be controlling the fight defensively as well as offensively.
Actually, what I think he's doing is he's watching Tua's shoulders. He looks like he's looking over the top of Tua, but he sees Tua's shoulders. So he can tell when Tua's going to throw a big punch. Whichever shoulder dips or starts to come at him, he dips to that side to avoid the punch.
Big right hand by Tua.
And Tua's quicker with the right hand. He has less of a tendency to telegraph that overhand right. When he wants to throw his big left hook, he's got a major tendency to dip to that side and let you know it's coming.
And that's what Rahman knows.
But if Rahman can take a really good punch like that without showing any signs of fatigue or hurt, you have to wonder what, if anything, Tua can do to change this.
The only thing that can change it, Larry, is the element of surprise. You have to catch him with one of those big punches when he's not expecting the big punch. That could change everything.
Well, I think it's going to have to be the right hand over the top, Roy, because more and more it appears the left hook has been blunted here. Another Rahman flurry, and Tua not throwing. Duva sitting at ringside has a sick look on his face as he watches his heavyweight David Tua reduced to target practice part of the time by Hasim Rahman when Rahman elects to throw his jab. A good body shot by Tua.
Good punch, though. It's 10 seconds before he throws another good punch. Oh,
boy.
That punch
into the round.
Landed immediately after the bell, and Rahman is seriously hurt, wobbling back to his corner. Duva is in the middle of the ring, battling with the referee, and I have no idea why. The bell rang.
This fighter got the clear shot.
Here it is. That right, and that's the one just as the referee was moving in to separate them at the bell.
That first punch hurt Tua too, though. I mean, hurt
Rahman.
I thought it set him up for the second punch.
That first punch did hurt Rahman.
This is a real test for Rahman.
All right, 1 minute after the left hook that exploded off the cheek of Hasim Rahman, David Tua gets a chance to try to capitalize.
And Larry, like I told you, the element of surprise.
Fight getting closer on the Letterman card. Tua going to work. Rahman not throwing. Tua slashing to the body with rights and lefts. Rahman in trouble. And the referee's going to stop it. Stop the fight.
I believe that is a very bad stoppage.
I totally agree. That's as premature as any stoppage can be in a heavyweight fight.
You can recall at the beginning of this fight, I said, is this referee going to be able to control what happened? Yes, Rahman was getting banged around.
Yeah, but these are heavyweights.
These are heavyweights. He was ahead in the fight. He had earned the benefit of the doubt to be given a chance.
What do you think, Roy?
I think what Larry said is very, very true. The guy, you have to give the guy an opportunity. He worked too hard for too long for you to step in and stop him. He wasn't getting hit repeatedly. He had control of himself. He was getting caught with good punches, but you still have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well,
he's been working too hard and too long.
That makes three of us, gentlemen. I think this is a rank injustice, which isn't to say that Tua wasn't continuing the rally and might not have gotten it done at some logical time.
What makes it
was too quick.
What makes it a particular injustice, Jim, is he was hit after the bell in the previous round. He clearly had not fully recovered, and then he was taking a barrage. But I don't think that he was so far gone that he didn't have an opportunity to restore himself.
You only hope that Hasim Rahman's career doesn't suffer unwarrantedly as the result of this loss, and that Tua recognizes how fortunate he is if, in fact, the IBF follows through and makes him the mandatory challenger for the winner of the bout between Lewis and Holyfield.
You know, I've often thought of David Tua as being 5 foot 10 inch tall, 5 foot 10 inch wide, and 5 foot 10 inch deep. He is deep, and to come back from the kind of beating he was taking through that fight, we have to give him credit. We've seen him do this type of thing before. You really can't discourage him.
Well, he has as much heart as any heavyweight.
Yes, he does. That was a very beautiful fight by both of these fighters. But one thing you have to know, Jim, sometimes the IBF and other governing bodies will demand a rematch when they see that there has been injustice. So hopefully these two fighters will come back and get to do this again, because both fighters fought a brilliant fight. It's not the fighter's fault that it happened this way.
Absolutely not. And you know, not to take anything away from David Tua, who deserves credit for the moxie he showed in continuing to come back and spotting his opportunity. But if he gets the title shot and Rahman goes back in the shuffle as the result of that, that would be unfair. So let's take another look at the end of the fight, and clearly, Roy, Tua was doing the damage.
Oh yes, Tua had him. He was hitting him with some good punches. He hadn't dropped him yet. He was catching him, but as you see, he's fighting back. Not many of the punches are very clean punches. He's still ducking punches. He's still very clear. He sees exactly what's going on. He's not giving up. He was slipping punches there.
That is not a heavyweight fight stoppage situation. Sorry. Here it is at regular speed. You'll see what kind of damage Tua was doing, but you cannot say that Rahman was stunned or was out of it. He was in trouble, but he wasn't down and he wasn't out.
You're right. He was in trouble, but he wasn't down and he wasn't out. He wasn't down and he wasn't out.
But a comeback victory for David Tua, who showed you a lot of what he was made of as he managed to reverse circumstances in a bout in which most everything was going against it.
And he did exactly what I would have did, Jim. Once you get that referee close to watching, Tua did exactly what I would have did. He turned it on, and you hope that the referee will come in and stop it, because this is your chance to try to gain back everything you've lost in that fight. So I don't blame Tua. I would have done the same thing, because you know the referee wants to protect the guy. The referee is not doing this out of spite. He's just trying to look out for the other opponent.
Absolutely right.
Tua was very smart in going ahead and launching that attack the way he did.
And he sealed the deal with his trademark weapon. He may telegraph that left hook, but when he lands it, it makes its point.
Yes, it does.
All right, let's go to ring announcer Mark Barrow for the official particulars on this one.
The time, 35 seconds of the 10th round. The winner by technical knockout and new IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight champion, David Tua.
Final punch stat numbers continue to reflect Rahman's dominance of the fight, landing 106 more punches than Tua. throwing nearly twice as many. Tua landed at the higher connect percentage, but Rahman's jab was clearly the tactical weapon of